Hi, this is a continuation from the previous, which talks about how to play around with looping in SAP workflow. So this one, what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to change the date to 1st of February, so that when the system date, which is right now as 31st Jan, it will be greater than that. And what will happen is that when it comes down here, pause for a while, it increments the counter, and then it will check here. So now this time around, today's date, which is 31st Jan, is not greater than 1st of February, which is the expiry date. It will loop, right? It will loop, and it will loop for 3 times, because the counter, each time it loops, the counter will get incremented. And I'm using the counter to control it so that it doesn't loop indefinitely, right? But if I do not have in a real life situation, this assuming that the system time, this loop is running for many times, then what's going to happen is that the server time will get changed over days, and the system time, if let's say the expiry date is 60 days later or 30 days later, this loop will control it such that 30 days later the loop will just expire and it will come out, so that it will not go into an indefinite loop. Okay, so in this particular case, we play around with the counter. Now let's try to compile and run it and see how it behaves. Right, so again, let's check in the business workplace. I don't have any remnants of work item which is sitting there, which will confuse me. So I come back here, it's clean, and now I start executed. And let's look at the workflow. So right now, the expiry date has been set to February 1st. Okay, and it is at the user decision, so I will go back and act on the user decision. Go to business workplace, and I will act on this. Just click on it, and I'll come back to the workflow and look at it, and you will see that now it has looped for once, right? So you can see that it has looped. And we can take a look at the counter. Now the result has been, the counter has been set to 2, as you can see here, right? Again, it is now pausing at this step, so I got to go back to my business workplace and act on it again. So this second time, remember this is the second time, and now I'm going to go back and again examine the workflow, and now it's on the 3rd round. So you can see that the counter, now it asks me what is the looping counter I should be looking at. So this is second time I look at, and the result is 3. So it goes, and I'm gonna go back now. So now this has looped again. Is at this step. I'm gonna go back to the business workplace and examine and take the action accordingly. And after this round, it should come out from the loop. Go back, examine the workflow, and yes, it has come out. So the workflow has completed, right? And this has become true, right? So I'm going to look at the 3rd time, and yes, it's become true, right? So now if you look at the second time when it loops, then it's still false. See that, right? So this is how a loop can be used to control your looping together with the container operations. Now, in case you're wondering how you can create container, a counter container, for example, let's have a look at the small, let's examine this counter a little bit. I have an initial value of 1. Alright, this is, you can set the initial value for it, but more importantly is how do you define the type. So in this particular case, I'm defining the type as like this, and there are several ways you can define it. So one of the ways is, for example, you can do a search and search for data elements. And under the information system, you can specify on the short description, kind of like search for some kind of counters you can use. Increase your maximum hits to get more options. And what happens is that SAP will go in and search for all the in the repository information system, all the data elements that you can possibly use, and you can find one that is probably close enough that you think you can use it. So pick something that you think logically you can use, and in this particular case I have just chosen one of them. You could choose some others if you like, just as a counter, right? So this is one example how you can do it. There's another way you can also do this, in the sense that you can choose data elements and information systems, and this time around under the data type, you know that you want some kind of an integer or something, then you can try to choose this. And for example, this one that says counter amount field or something like that, so you can choose this, and you can do a search and make sure you increase your hit to a large enough number so that you get more options to choose from. And you can see there's a big set of things you can choose from here, and you can just pick one of them to use. Okay, so this is an example of how you can do that, right? Likewise for the date, you do the same thing. You choose for a date field which is kind of suitable for yourself to use. All right, okay, so that's it.